All right. So hi again, Miranda.
Hello, Mary.
We're back.
We're back with another Bird Barf.
Yay!
I'm
Um,
kind of disappointed because you didn't put the Bird Barf theme song
I know
in
I
the last
forgot.
one. I
I'll
was
do it.
so.
I got really lazy because it was long, and I'm like, it's gonna add time, but we'll do it this time. We'll put it right here.
Yay, theme song!
Yay! That was a great theme song, um, which we did not hear, but it's fine.
Did you write that theme song? Actually, I feel like I've asked you before, but
No. That's from a guy named Steve Combs. He's got a whole bunch of music he puts on Free Music Archive,
oh, cool,
and he just puts it up there for people to use, and it's amazing.
nice.
Um,
Well, thank
I
you, Stephen
yes,
Combs.
Stephen goes. I use him. I used him for our fairy movie too,
Ooh,
which is
the
not out
workout
yet.
music
With the what?
with the running music. Is that his?
No, that's a band called Tentacles, but he's the one where you and Maggie are dragging a certain body around.
No spoilers. Don't give
No
me free
spoilers,
spoilers.
mainly because I have to still edit the sound. But anyway, um, but okay, so we're here for our part two of uh, unfairly taking apart a list that someone else put a lot of effort into putting together.
And again, to reiterate, it is a very well written list.
It is.
And the gentleman who wrote it from Paste Magazine uh, did a really good job. And we are not in any way necessarily disagreeing with his list because it's all his opinions.
Right. And
And we think he did a good job.
he put a lot of good description in here too. So like, it's not just like a list of names. Like if you want to come see, he gives really good descriptions of them too. So
Yeah, he's a legit writer, a legit horror fan.
yeah, he's got a ton of information. So definitely look at the list. It is linked in our description, both. It should be on iTunes and also on YouTube. Casual reminder, we only have so many episodes up on iTunes because I use SoundCloud for that and I'm not going to pay money. So I have to delete them when I start losing space, but all of them are up on YouTube. So if you want to go look at that. Also, we have a Twitter, which is worth bringing up because in our last episode, we talked about how we really want to watch Wolf Cop. And so I started watching Wolf Cop. And I tweeted that I am, hey, watching Wolf Cop for podcast reasons. And I actually got a tweet back.
Oh, really?
It's his username is J_dot_jolly, JOLY, and he's the CEO founder of Cineku.
Ooh.
And he and his team, I guess, are making Wolf Cop 2.
Excellent.
It's called Another Wolf Cop. And the sequels are The Disease, Meet the Cure. And it's a great poster. So I'm excited about that. I have yet to officially finish Wolf Cop, but so far it's really funny.
Nice.
But I did feel kind of bad because he tweeted me the poster for it. And the only response I gave, oh no, it's a franchise. But I really love the sequel title. But I think it came off as sounding kind of mean that I was like being cranky about it, but I wasn't. So I think it's funny that it's a franchise.
Well, I definitely still want to check this out. And just to remind anyone who has not maybe listened to part one of this, and if you haven't, you should go back and listen to part one before continuing. But Wolf Cop was number 43 on this list.
Yes.
Made in 2014. And yes, it sounds like it's amazing. And it was good enough that they're making a sequel, apparently.
Yes, and apparently it just premiered like in September, I think, but I don't think it's out on anything officially yet. So
so like they're doing the festival circuit or something?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it seems like anyway. So, keep that in mind, and let's see what else we can talk about today that someone will let me know that there are sequels popping up. So we made it last time from 60 to 30. 30 was The Fly.
Mm-hmm.
And so we are starting with 29. Also, I was informed by a different listener named Brian, who we know who Brian is. But he pointed out that we should probably, even if we don't talk about the movies, we should say what's on the list, because he's like, otherwise he had a hard time following what we were doing.
Oh, okay. All right. That's fair.
It's a really
Fair
good
point. Fair point.
So for 29, we have A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night. Have you seen this?
I have not. I've heard a lot about it. I've heard good things about it.
Yeah.
And I believe it is an Iranian filmmaker, I believe.
So, yeah.
Which is cool. It's really awesome to see horror from other countries, especially Middle Eastern countries, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
But I've not seen it. I would like to see it. Being on Netflix, it should be easy for me to see it.
Yeah, I started watching it once, but because it is, most times when I watch movies, I'm doing something else at the same time. And so it's a foreign film, so you have to watch it with the subtitles. And so because I was doing something else, I was like, oh, I have to wait until I can really watch this. So yeah. I look forward to watching it because I've heard nothing but good stuff about it. So everyone should watch that.
Same.
I did watch number 28, which is Honeymoon.
The name alone makes it sound like it's really awesome, she said sarcastically.
It's so weird. Like, it stars, okay, so it's got Victor Frankenstein from Penny Dreadful, Harry Treadaway, who I like. And then it has Rose Leslie, who's you get from Game of Thrones, and I like her too.
Oh, she's awesome. Yeah, I like her.
Yeah, and so they both are basically on their honeymoon, and it starts off seeming kind of like a creepy horror, and it just gets so weird. Like, insane. And I was not expecting where it went. Like, I kind of wanted to punch them both at certain points, which is why I'm a little bit like about it. But I should have figured out this is where it was going. But when it got there, I was just like, what the? Like, it's a weird one.
Oh, that's good though. I like movies where like you think they're going to be really predictable and then they completely, like you said, like I should have seen this coming, but I didn't.
Yeah.
This is not on the list, but I had the exact same reaction, even though it's a terrible movie, to the recent Friday the 13th, where
the most recent one, the remake,
the one with the guy from Supernatural.
These tits are stupendous.
And
that's the only thing I remember from that movie.
It's got Danielle Panabaker.
Okay.
But spoiler alert, I'm going to talk about the ending. It's not on this list, but if you haven't seen it, I wouldn't bother. But yeah, she's, she's like the main female character. And so you think she's the final girl.
Yeah.
You think like, okay, she's going to be the one that make it. And then she doesn't. She gets killed by Jason. And I should have seen that coming because the real relationship is between the brother and his sister that's been kidnapped by Jason. So I should have known the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
That she was going to be the final girl. She was the one that was going to make it. But because, most of the movie focuses on the Danielle Panabaker character, and she's like a big name actress, I thought she's the final girl. I didn't see it coming, and I should have seen it coming. But that's. That movie's terrible, though. Don't watch it.
Yeah, like I said, that's the only line is the one I remembered. But it is more fun when that kind of thing happens. Which is why I think, because we were talking about number 27, which is The Sacrament. Neither of us have seen it.
Yes.
But it's by director Ty West. And it sounds like something I should like, because it's basically like a Jonestown thing. But neither you nor I really like Eli Roth all that much. And Ty West, everyone went on and on about how good The Innkeepers was. And I just found that so boring. Because nothing.
You hated it, right? Yeah, you didn't like it very much.
And it's like when stuff happened, I didn't find it unpredictable. I was just like, okay.
Yeah, Ty West, I didn't see The Innkeepers mainly because you said it was terrible. And that I didn't like any, we discussed in the last podcast, I did not like anything from DHS, including his.
Yeah.
I have a solid record of not liking any Eli Roth movie, and people can comment. I'm sure y'all disagree because I also mentioned in the last podcast that I'm a huge fan of torture porn, and so you're probably shocked to learn that I thought Hostel was probably the second big torture porn movie that came out of the Saw, reawakening of that genre. It was awful. I don't even talk about it because it's not on this list, and I could go on for hours about how awful Hostel was. So I'm just, but because of that, I'm very hesitant to watch I know he didn't direct it, he produced it or whatever. His name's all over it, but I'm just
Yeah.
hesitant to watch any Eli Roth thing. I like him as an actor. Don't get me wrong. He was great in Inglourious Bastards.
He was. Well, he seems
yeah.
nice. Like, I've heard things about him being like a decent person, which I feel bad. You know, it's like, I make fun of these, it's like movies, like, it's just like, oh, I don't like it. It's like, I always feel kind of weird about it because it's like people made it and people put effort into it.
Yeah. And he is a great filmmaker. I'm not going to disparage that because he's one of those independent filmmakers that really just sort of like, I'm going to make a movie and this is what I want to do. And he did it. And I 100% respect that.
Yeah.
I just don't like the movies he made. I thought Cabin Fever was awful. I don't like it's his humor. I don't like his humor that he puts into movies.
Yeah.
Which I was actually kind of excited. I almost did it. I almost watched his latest one. That's kind of like the Cannibal Holocaust.
Oh, the green
genre. Yeah. Like Green Inferno, I think it was called.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I like that genre a lot, but it's Eli Roth, and I was gonna do it, but then our friend Richard saw it, and
the person I always call Gory.
Yes, Gory saw it, and he was like, oh, it was really good, and I was like, I just don't like Eli Roth's humor. He's like, oh, well, if you don't like Eli Roth's humor style, he's like, you won't like it. And I was like, he can't just do any like serious horror movie. There always has to be really bad, witty comedy, and it's not. I don't know. I don't like the blending of the two. But anyway, complete digression. So we haven't seen The Sacrament. We both like cult things, and Jones done things.
Yeah, I love cult stuff. Like, I'm obsessed with it. So I'm just like, I feel like I should love that. I don't know. We should ask Gory if he's seen it, because Gory has seen almost everything. So Gory, if you're listening, have you seen The Sacrament, and should I watch it?
What did you think? I pointed out, though, not on the list, but a movie by Kevin Smith called Red State, also about cults and a cult leader. Great horror movie. You don't think Kevin Smith in horror? It is. It's wonderful. I recommend that.
Okay, so maybe that one instead.
Yes.
Okay, so from 27, 26 is another one neither of us have seen, Hush. I know you were going to, but you didn't get around to it.
Yeah, I was definitely going to watch that this week. I think we both really liked the director, Mike Flanagan, his movie Oculus that came out a few years ago.
Yeah.
Really liked Oculus. I thought it was really well done. It kept you guessing. You didn't quite know what was going on. And it's one of those movies.
Well, I liked the characters too.
Yeah, the characters were relatable. The acting was good. But it was very much like in the vein of Halloween, where like they don't give any reason why these things are happening. Like, why does Michael Myers just kill a bunch of people? You never know. You never find out. And it was like that. So, and knowing that I liked his other movies so much, I thought it was great original horror. I do want to check out Hush.
Movie Troll Hunter. You've seen this, right?
I actually did not. I really wanted to, because as we've mentioned a bunch, this is one they showed at the Music Box. Because it was I believe it's a foreign film. It's it was sort of independent. So the Music Box here in Chicago shows a lot of these movies, and I really wanted to. I didn't get a chance to, but I have heard that it's like really funny and amazing and silly and good.
Yeah, I heard it's supposed to be a lot of. I think it's kind of like a mockumentary, right?
Yeah,
when Herzog likes to do his Loch Ness and all that stuff.
Yeah, like a found footage, first person type of filming is what I've heard.
Okay.
And that is number 25 on the list, people. We didn't just pull that out of the air.
24, The Nightmare, I have not seen. I have no information on.
I know a little bit about it. I haven't seen it. It's actually been one that I've been wanting to watch because it's actually a documentary. It's not even like a horror movie. Basically, it's about the people that have night terrors. So that like phenomenon where you're paralyzed.
Sleep paralysis, yeah.
Yeah, and you're like awake, but like oddly, and like there's a common theme from all people that experience this, where they all see the same like witch woman. It's a common, like they'll report the same I don't want to say hallucination, but probably but they all have like the exact same vision or hallucination of this old crone at the edge of their bed. And so apparently, like, I've heard people say that this is absolutely terrifying because in this case, like, it is a documentary. These are real people that they are talking about. So have not seen it, but really, really want to. I've heard really awesome things about this, and I hear that it's really horrifying because it's a documentary, that this has scared more people than any actual, like,
that's
fictional
what
horror
he
film.
says. I mean, he's got it in his list. He says it's one of the most unsettling documentaries he's ever seen. So that's, promising.
Yeah.
Will it emotionally scar me? Check. One that will not emotionally scar you, but you should see 100% is number 23, Housebound. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did, because I remember one day, I think I was homesick and I was like, I'm looking for good, weird horror movies I haven't seen, and you had mentioned this one. And so of course I watched it. And it's really good. It's so funny. It's so, and I don't want to say cute. I describe a lot of horror movies that I really like as cute.
Yeah.
I thought it was really cute. I really liked it.
And it's like, it's because he points out at the bottom, and again, like we were saying, Jim Vorel, his reporting on this stuff is really good, like his little write-ups for each film. He points out, like, it's marketed as a horror comedy, but it's really more of a horror dramedy, because it has genuinely scary moments, and the less we say about it, I think the better, because it's so odd.
Yeah, this one I don't want to give any spoilers on. And even though it is maybe a little lesser known, because I think this was New Zealand. I was going to say Australia, but New Zealand. So it was, more of a foreign film. I don't think it was even released, like, in theaters in America, to my knowledge. But yeah, so don't want to give any spoilers because I think people really enjoy it. But I know lots of other people that have also seen this. And when I was at work this week, we were talking about, like, creepypasta stories, and we were talking about similar theme to this movie, which again, I don't want to give away, but then all of us were like, oh, it's like in Housebound. And so, like, a lot of people have seen this movie, and I definitely agree with its placement. Here as number 23 on the list. I would even put it up actually higher.
I think I would too.
Yeah. So I would even probably put it up in, like, the top 15, maybe. Personally,
I think it's probably one of my favorites. It's good.
It was good. It was a good recommendation. Thank you for making me watch this.
Oh, you're welcome. I think my friend Peter recommended it to me, so thanks, Peter. So yeah, that one's good. Watch that one. 22 Late Phases. I have not seen.
I have not seen it. It looks like a werewolf movie.
Yeah.
I'm reading the description here. It sounds like they have a lot of, like, ridiculous practical costumes, and I always applaud movies that, even if they're kind of stupid and cheesy, if they use practical effects and practical costumes, like, for a werewolf instead of,
like, Wolf Cop.
all, like, instead of doing, like, everything CG.
Right, it's a lot better.
Yeah, even if it's, like, a bad movie, I just respect that. I think we were talking about, I don't know if it actually made it in the podcast, if we just discussed it before, but the film Knights of Badassdom, even though it wasn't that great, they did all, like, practical effects, and that was alone, I think, cool that there are so many horror people that still choose to do that.
Yeah.
As opposed to CG.
Okay, this one, number 21, I think should be way higher on this list, because I love this movie.
And I did watch it this week because it was one of the films that I was going to watch and make Noah watch. And we did, and I forgot, like, how good it really was.
Event Horizon is amazing. If you have not seen Event Horizon, watch it. And it has such a great cast. It has Sam Neill. It has Lawrence Fishburne. It has Jason Isaacs. It has Sean Pertwee. It has Jolie Richardson. It's just, like, crazy, the cast.
It's good. And, it was one of those movies too that it is definitely horror, but because it's also, like, kind of sci-fi. I think, it was actually a big feature film budget release. It came out in theaters, and it wasn't, I don't think, actually 12 or 13 at the time, so I don't quite remember. I remember it coming out, but it was not marketed as, like, a horror film, so I think a lot of people saw it, and I think probably were confused by it, but I'm sure
I don't think it did very well when it first came out, and then after yeah, people started being like, this is actually, if you, yeah, sci-fi horror, if you market it correctly, it's really, really good. Um, and it's just creepy because you don't know what's happening. And it's like, well, who does know what's happening? Like, does this person like, and it's just, oh God, it's creepy.
Yeah, and I remember that you know, I don't want to give too many spoilers, but just know it is definitely a horror film.
Yes.
You know, I'm watching it and I remember it like getting just like batshit crazy at the end. But as I
Yes.
told you, I think I texted you after we watched it and I was like, I remember it being like really fucked up, but I didn't remember like how
How fucked up.
graphic it was,
Yeah.
which was really, as I said, was a pleasant, enjoyable surprise for me, because I absolutely adore things like that.
Yeah.
So as I'm watching it, I was like, I don't remember these things happening in such a graphic way.
Yeah.
My only complaint with the movie, and having just rewatched it, and Noah echoed the sentiment, is again, I don't want to say too much because I don't want to give any spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen it, but
Yeah.
we wanted to see more of a certain place.
Oh, I get you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that some of the characters go to, but you don't really see it. You just see it kind of in flashes. And we were like, there needs to be a sequel about them going to
See, like I
basically,
think the amount they showed is what freaks me out. Because
yeah.
I
But
like the
I just want to see
ambiguity
more.
of it. I know. Yeah, it's like because for me, it's like I sit there and I start thinking about it, and I'm like, oh, this is horrifying. And I think what's good too, again, is it's the horror is based on the characters because you do like them
Yeah.
and spend enough time with them that it's all very specific to who they are, and it's just like it's a good movie. This should be higher. I am
Yeah, I would say top 10 on this just
yes,
because it's
it's
such
so good.
a it's like a sleeper agent film where it's like you don't expect it. You know,
Yeah,
you're not expecting it and then it comes out of nowhere and you're like,
yeah,
what the hell did I just see?
mhm,
That was amazing. Like
yeah,
it's good. It's good. So if you have not, I hopefully people listening to this have seen Event Horizon. It's certainly not a new movie. It
yeah.
came out in 1997. Um, so if you haven't seen it, it's on Netflix now. Like go watch it immediately.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
Sam Neill's been in some good horror because one of my all-time favorite movies is Into the Mouth of Madness or In the Mouth of Madness. I always wanted to
Yes,
throw up my in or into,
that
but
is
I love that
that movie is
movie.
also fantastic.
It's funny and also freaky, and Charlton Heston is in it, and I don't know why, but yeah, it's worth watching. One I haven't seen, number 20 is called Here Comes the Devil. It's an indie Mexican horror film. I have not seen it.
Not neither have I.
Yeah, he says it's creepy. So I mean, I guess if you want to watch that, that's good. And again, I mean, it's good to have horror on this list that isn't just like, hey, some American made it, or whatever. So
Yeah,
that's
it's
pretty
pretty cool to
awesome.
have, different countries.
Yeah.
And I
Um,
don't know if it has subtitles or not. I don't know if it's in Spanish or if it's
it's
in
probably in
English.
Spanish. Honestly, I prefer that. I hate dubbing. Like, I think it sounds so
Oh
dumb, and I
yeah,
think like you should definitely like that takes away from the actors too. It's
I
like don't
definitely
dub them over.
prefer, yeah, subtitled.
Yeah, subtitle it. How about 19? Why do I feel like you've seen Creep?
I haven't. I
No,
mean, it definitely
just
has
kidding.
like poster art of a movie that I would probably see. Um, but this one looks like it's a more recent film. Um,
This is
this
19.
one, yeah, 19 on the list, 2014. I've heard people talk about it, and I feel like I've seen other good reviews, and it is pretty high up on the list. Um, but I actually don't know anything about it. I don't know what it's about or anything like that. But it does
Oh,
say it's
yeah.
another indie film, which I always appreciate.
Yeah.
Um,
So someone
so
else will have to watch it for us. Tell us what it
probably,
is.
yeah.
Um, for I haven't. There's several in here I haven't seen now. Number 18 is They Look Like People. Haven't seen it. Um,
Yeah, again, neither have I on this one.
17, Mad Ron's Previews from Hell. I have not seen that either.
It does look like a fantastically bad but wonderful 80s horror film. Uh,
Yeah, it says it's a feature-length collection of vintage 70s era grindhouse horror trailers, which might be kind of awesome. Like I might like that.
Oh, yeah, that actually sounds really good.
Wait, there's a line here that says, seriously, it's trailers for the likes of I Drink Your Blood and Blood Splattered Bride and I Dismember Mama, followed immediately by bad ventriloquist hijinks and zombie audience members pouring blood on their popcorn. It whole
It
feels,
kind of
this is funny.
it kind of looks like it'd be like a trauma
Yeah.
movie just based on the artwork and
I'm not
the
overly into
style.
cinema, but like maybe I can handle trailers.
Yeah.
We should
And,
find out.
and there's a lot of like films that Trauma distributes, but isn't actually like a Trauma film. So I think
Oh,
like some of
maybe.
those, like Blood Freak, I think is technically under like the Trauma catalog, where it's like the guy that turns into like the zombie turkey from drinking like infected blood and then goes crazy and kills people. That's kind of what I feel like this art looks like.
It could be. This was from 1987, so maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'll try it. Um, 16 is The Host.
I've I thought I had seen that, but now in like reading the description, I have not seen it.
I saw it and I didn't like it.
It's is it a Korean film? Is it dubbed or is it in English
I think
or
because this was back in
subtitled?
the days of video stores, 2006, and I think I rented it, and you had the option, like one side of the disc was dubbed, one side was subtitles, and I think I
Mm.
watched it with subtitles, and I didn't, the characters, like there was this one character that I hated. He was super goofy and he drove me crazy, and ultimately I just didn't like the monster. And I think because it's a monster movie, that's all I want. Like I get really too focused. Like we discussed my Godzilla problem.
Yeah.
Most recent God, I'm just like, fuck all the humans. I want Godzilla. And it's just I wasn't given that. And I think that's kind of what I felt like with The Host. I just wasn't that interested in it.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of people like it, so it's an able film. It just wasn't what I was.
Not your thing. Yeah.
Do we really need to talk about 15? Scream
Uh,
2.
I only want to talk about 15 in the fact that I think it's misplaced on the list.
Mm-hmm.
And we discussed this last week before we were recording. I feel like and don't get me wrong, I like Scream 2. I love the whole Scream franchise.
Yeah.
But the fact that they have Scream 2 as number 15 on the list, I kind of feel like the only reason it's this high or like, well rated on the list is the fact that it's Wes Craven and it's a Scream movie. Because
Yeah.
I don't think that Scream 2 was the powerhouse of the franchise.
Right.
I mean, I liked Scream 2. Scream is way better. So I just think it's odd that its placement on this list is so high. And I feel like the only reason why it is because it is Wes Craven and it is Scream. But as a standalone film, I don't think you can tie in its worth by connecting it to the first one. Because I even almost like Scream 3 better than Scream 2, which I'm sure maybe many people will disagree with. But it was a good sequel. I just don't think it was movies on this list. I just think it got put in as number 15 because of name recognition.
Yeah, you're probably right. And because they don't have any of the other ones on there.
True. And they used to have actually all 4 Scream movies on Netflix, so I don't know why they're all gone now.
I don't know.
But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, it's a good movie. Nobody send me hate mail because I said Scream 2 was bad. I'm not. I just don't think it's number 50. It should be number 15 on the list.
Yeah. That's where you should put Housebound. What's wrong with all of you?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Because in no way am I saying that Wes Craven is a bad director. I think he's one of the best
great.
and most amazing people in the world, and sad to lose him last year. But yeah, I just, Scream 2. I don't think it belongs at number 15.
Number 14, I have not seen We Are What We Are. I'm also not too into cannibalism, so that would explain that.
I have not seen it either, but I guess it's worth pointing out that it looks like this is a remake film, which I don't, and the problem that I have with this is not necessarily remakes, which I don't typically like, but recent remakes. And what I mean by that is like the original film was made in 2010 it says, and this
Yeah.
probably like Americanized version of it was made in 2013.
Yeah.
So
I
that was
guess
like my
show
problem
us
with,
the original version.
yeah,
Not as
like I'd much rather
appreciating someone
just,
else's idea. Yeah, that's kind of annoying.
yeah, it was my same problem with, Girl with a Dragon Tattoo. So you have the original one that comes out,
Yeah.
that's subtitled and amazing, with, Numi, and then as, Elizabeth. And then like 2 years later, they're like, oh, well, let's make this into an, English American movie.
Mhm.
And again, I like the director and I like, the soundtrack because it's Trent Reznor. But at the same time, I was like, why do you even need to remake this movie that
Yeah.
just came out? And in fact, I feel like when they made Girl with a Dragon Tattoo, the American version, they hadn't even released like the third of the trilogy from the original. So it's like they're
No,
coming
I
out with
think
a
it was
remake.
out because I think I
Oh,
watched
was it?
all the Swedish ones and then we went to go see,
Uh,
because I read the books, then watched
yeah.
The Swedish films, and then went to go see I mean, yeah, that's an interesting. We did a whole books to movies about that one, Tina and I did, where we talked for like 40 minutes about all of that. It was interesting. I did not like what's her name as Lisbeth, but like it's one of those things where yeah, you have to have a reason.
Rumi or the girl from Nightmare on Elm Street?
Girl from Nightmare on Elm Street. I did not like
Yeah.
her as Lisbeth. I
Yeah.
love Mimi. She's perfect.
Yeah.
But I kind of liked everything else about the American version better because the story was more accurate, which was surprising to me. But
Mm-hmm.
like for something like this, as we were saying, like I don't think it was based on a book, so it's not like you're going for greater accuracy. You're just like, ooh, here's this idea from this movie. We're not gonna show an American audience, so let's Americanize the hell out of it. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
saying this having not seen it at all, so who knows what the hell
True.
I'm
It
about.
could be
But
totally different.
I could
And
be completely wrong.
it was kind of how I felt
Very ignorant.
too with I actually haven't seen this. I don't think it's on the list, but they had the movie Let the Right One In, and
Yeah,
then like 2 years later, they're like, oh, we can't have this French movie. Let's make it into an American movie, and then they made Let Me In. It's like why? Why? I just don't understand. Especially, and this gets done with horror or like dark movies a lot. It's like, why
yeah.
can't you just appreciate the original? Because
Like
by
all those
all,
Japanese movies,
yeah,
Japanese horror, they do that constantly.
like The Ring, yeah,
So I
exactly.
refuse to watch Ring You because I know it's going to haunt me for the rest of my days. I'm not doing it. um,
Um, but yeah, I mean that's, and this is also just too obviously a commentary on like whitewashing things, like what
right. Yeah. Just in general, if you're not a white person, it's hard to find representation in film that isn't like a supporting character or somebody, especially like or someone who dies. So it's just like
Yeah,
you. How about we just expose people to other cultures? Like, come on, maybe then we'd be more tolerant and less awful all the time.
yeah.
Um,
Uh, anyway, that was a tangent, but yeah,
it was random
I just,
tangent.
I just,
Fine.
I have an issue with like, here's this really awesome foreign film slash horror film. Okay,
Yeah,
cool. Let's make it with a bunch of white people. Yeah. Anyway.
always fun. Um, that does not fit at all into a discussion of number 13, Wormwood Road of the Dead. But then again, I'm not able to have a discussion about Wormwood Road of the Dead because I don't know what that is.
I haven't seen it either, but it does. We actually just rewatched Mad Max Fury Road last night, and
Uh,
so apparently this is a very like horror Mad Max. They say in the description here that it's, you have like various like comparative films.
yeah.
So I really loved Fury Road mainly because of all the practical effects and how well it was shot and the set design. If this is anything like that in quality, but with zombies, it sounds pretty good. And honestly, I would even go as far to say that Mad Max, like in rewatching it, it's almost like a horror action film. It's just got a lot of creepy, like symbols and like the symbology with all their various tribes and cults. Really, I know no one would ever say that Mad Max is a horror film, but in watching it last night, I was like, this is actually kind of almost like
Some
treading the line.
elements.
Yeah, like treads the line of horror. I don't know. People probably disagree with me, but
I still like the Wilton. If people listening have not gone to look at the Wilton Silver Cake Spray on Amazon to see how the Mad Max people took over the comment section, go do it. Um, But yeah, I haven't seen Wormwood. 12 is Pontypool, which I only just saw for the first time this summer.
And I have not seen it, so you're gonna have to. You mentioned that you really liked it, though.
I actually did, and to be perfectly honest, the title put me off for a very long time because I'm like, what the fudge? Like, it sounds like other things I don't want to watch.
Yeah,
So
we've discussed that. Every time I hear the title Pontypool, the first thing that came to my mind, completely unrelated, was Pootie Tang,
yeah.
The Chris Rock movie.
Mhm.
So that made me. I was like, Pontypool. That sounds
Well, it's like in
terrible.
the poster also doesn't really reveal all that much, but it's really interesting. It's basically about a DJ, not a DJ, but he's like a radio host who is hosting his super early morning radio show. He sees something weird on the way in, and then all of a sudden things start going really wrong in the outside world. So they're all trapped inside this radio station trying to figure out what's happening. And it's like, it's just super cool how they kind of set it up, and the way that, because the main characters are like at each other a lot at first, and then they kind of have to figure this stuff out together. So it's a really, I thought it was fun. I thought it was an interesting movie, and the plot was like, there's nothing particularly twisty that happens. Like once you figure out what's happening, that's what's happening. But I
Hmm.
think it's still fun to watch. So I liked Pontypool. I was surprised.
Yeah, I definitely want to check it out, and I was kind of surprised. I felt like just from reading about it or hearing the name, that it was a little bit more recent. And it is recent. It's 2008,
Well, for
but
us,
yeah, I was expecting it to be like really new, like, within the last year or
yeah,
two.
no,
So I was like 2008. I was like, and it's number 12 on this list. So obviously, like, it's a good movie and people think
yeah.
it's good. It's like, how have I not heard more about it? But I think the name alone what put me off. I would never see the name Pontypool like if I'm scrolling through Netflix and be like, I'm gonna watch this.
Yeah,
So
the name and the poster don't do it much service. The ending is a little bit dopey, but I think I thought the rest of it was still interesting.
yeah.
Speaking of starting over from endings, number 11, Wes Craven's New Nightmare. I feel like we
Which,
don't have to say much about this either, except it's awesome.
yeah, the only thing I would say is that, like, why isn't this in the top five? That's
It's
my only complaint. Again, when jumping back to Wes Craven, which we just talked about in Scream
mhm.
2, this is probably my favorite Nightmare on Elm Street movie. Um, I know a lot of people be like, "Oh, the first is the best." Not gonna, disagree that the first movie is amazing, but I
Yeah.
really like New Nightmare the best.
Well, it's
Um,
really rare because Nightmare on Elm Street as a series really went off the rails. Like it got so nuts. The sixth one is insane. I mean, and they're fun in their own way, right? Because I
yeah,
love Nightmare on Elm Street, and it just gets bizarre. But I
yeah,
think
I like Dream Child. I know a lot of people hate Dream Child. I think it's great, but
but it's like it's really rare that once something goes so ridiculous, like there has not been a pickup of the Friday the 13th franchise. Like they tried with the remake and they did a bad, like it didn't work.
yeah,
Whereas
it
this,
added
it was
nothing new.
exactly, and this was going back to the original thing and being like, how can we actually make this creepy again? And they did it.
Yeah.
Like this is good. And then the next one Freddy versus Jason, which is an awesome
Yes.
freaking movie. Like it's just this was a real rejuvenating solid move, and it's good. If you like Nightmare on Elm Street, watch this movie. Even if you're not too fond of it, watch the first one and then watch this one.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. I feel like, I mean, again, they all have their own merits, even Freddy's Revenge, even number two. They all have something. Um, but in this case, yeah, I feel like if you don't want to watch all of them, definitely watch Nightmare on Elm Street, then
Yeah,
watch New Nightmare, then watch Freddy versus Jason,
I love
which
that movie.
Freddy versus Jason did more for the Friday the 13th series than any other Friday
Right.
the 13th movie they've made. But I will say, I think it's, like you said, it goes. Freddy is so known for his wit and his sarcasm, and welcome to primetime, bitch. But New
Which
Nightmare
is what I kept
really,
thinking while watching the election or the debates.
yeah. Um, but yeah, New Nightmare just it took it back to such a really scary
Yeah.
place. And then to add on top of that, same with Freddy versus Jason, which the name alone would make you think like this is going to be the silliest thing, and it was. It was, you know, the ending was kind of silly with the final showdown.
Oh, the whole
But
thing is crazy, but it's so good.
yeah, but the opening scene with him like building the glove in Freddy versus Jason,
Yeah.
you know, and he's like, "You're all my," it was just like it all of a sudden made Freddy. You kind of forget in some of the other movies that he's basically a child molester and murderer, and then like you really bring it back to that in Freddy versus Jason, and he's no longer just goofy Freddy. He's
a threat.
I really hope that they don't try to make more.
Again.
Yeah, like
I love Jackie Earle Haley. I really do, and it just doesn't work because it's got to be Robert Englund at this point. It's like when they remade Evil Dead and it didn't do well because it's not Bruce Campbell. So yeah, you know, keep to the good stuff, and this is some of the good stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, you mentioned Evil Dead, and like, you know, to be fair, like I thought it was a pretty good movie. Like it was okay, but you're right. If you're having like a franchise, you can't not have the iconic actors that built it. It just doesn't work. It's, you
especially
know,
when you see their faces. Like it's just, you got to figure out, if you got a masked guy, it can be whoever you want. But if you show a face, and especially when they look, you know, like that, you got to do it.
And when they speak, you know, it's the difference between a Michael Myers and, I mean, even getting a real actor to, you know, like, and not just a stunt man, like you can tell the difference. But if there's even dialogue involved, I'm not even going to mention a certain movie that might have the edition that's called Revelations, because they made it with not with the original actor, and it was awful. Nobody liked it, and I won't even talk about it. You just can't. You can't do a series without Robert Englund, without Doug Bradley, without you can't do it.
Yeah, no, it doesn't work. So I think, so Wes Craven's New Nightmare is a good place, I think, to end for now, because we went way longer than we thought we would again. So for Halloween, so this is being posted Monday of October, the 24th. So for Halloween, we will post the top 10 on this list, which will actually be the one where we complain endlessly about one of them. And then we'll throw in a couple recommendations, because there are some movies that Netflix has up that are not on this list that we think are pretty good. So we'll throw them in there, and it'll be a great Halloween treat. So, all right. So that was approximately 10 that we got through.
We got through 20.
Did we? I can't count.
Yeah, we went from 30 to 10. So
you're right. I'm a genius. That would be 30 minus 10, wouldn't it? 20, not 10.
It's Brian's fault, because he told us we should talk about and mention all of them. And by doing that, we made comments on the ones even that we hadn't seen, and we would have skipped those before.
How dare you, Brian? All right. So next week, we're going to have the final 10, and then we'll have our own endless discussions of other things on Netflix that you should watch, including a collection of animated Edgar Allan Poe tales, which are awesome. So we're going to have a fun discussion. So thank you, Miranda, for this set of 20, not 10. And we'll be back next week.
Recording live and in person, not via webcam.
Probably well dressed as like really weird people. Maybe we'll throw in a picture.
Yeah.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.